Good morning to everybody. So for our usual Tuesday pre-market watch list, what we do is we go through our Benzinga Pro Scanner, and we're looking at the movers section here. And what I'm really looking for is, first, I'm looking for things that have enough volume. So I'm usually looking for stocks that have 600,000 shares or more. And I'm comparing that in relationship to relative volume. I want something that's, moving pretty decent in relationship to relative volume, because that tells me there's a lot of eyes on it, a lot of institutional interest, a lot of traders that are going to be trading that stock or potentially trading that stock for the day. And that gives me an idea of which ones are, going to be moving. So, or potentially moving. So we got a few that are above the 600K. We got INO, which has been a really big pharmaceutical mover over the last several, since the coronavirus thing hit February, it's been really big. And so we're going to take a look at INO. It's on the low end, 600K, 640K. Plug has been very powerful in the EV space. Look sure to try the company announced it will supply Walmart with hydrogen and fuel cell solutions. And that's interesting. Okay, I did not see that news earlier. So, okay. Still pretty low, though, in terms of average volume. You're talking 1/30th, so 3%. VTVT, this one is up on positive news catalyst. Announced it's entering a license agreement with Interis Bio for novel clinical stage NRF2, some nerve activator compound. MCEP, no news catalyst and already fading a lot of the pre-market move. BTWN, no news catalyst that I can find out. AVXL, after company reported its phase 2 placebo-controlled trial, so another pharma with female patients. So gained on the news, and then it's faded pretty much all of that already. So we'll probably pass on that one. THPR, no news that I can see. Experience investment, something came out, and I'm not seeing anything on that. Let's check real quick, and then we'll start looking at charts here. So just a moment. Hello to you, Miss Actor. Later mobility to go public. Blade to become public listed. With experience. Okay, so EXPC is a SPAC, basically. That's like becoming the thing. And so, yeah. So it acquired somebody, got some big pop from it, and it's already faded a lot of it. But it does have some pretty good volume. And then Veru, nothing that I can see on Veru, which has been pretty busy the last few days. Let's see, anything in Veru that I want to. Okay, it's just a list of that. So, okay. All right, so let's go take a look. We'll start with Veru and then look at EXPC, VTVT. I'll talk about some uranium plays that I'm looking at right now. Look at Plug. We'll get that on the list, which actually I'm liking so far. So I kind of like that chart a lot. Okay. So Veru being the first one, what are some of the pre-market sets? Volume is 6.1 million. It's already double its average volume in pre-market, and we still got 24 minutes to go. That is very interesting. Okay, so with that being said, hello to you, Stefano. OCX, you want me to look at OCX? Remember, instrument time frame, 1 cent subscription, bullish or bearish, Colin, and I'll take a look. Okay, so Veru was one of those. It's got good volume right off the bat. It's up about 13%. So let's take a look at this one here. And so it's already been building in a nice bull trend. Corrected pullback here, and it's up pre-market. So let's mark the pre-market highs and then compare that to where it is on the weekly. By the way, I didn't recap overnight markets, but Asia seems relatively mixed, but okay. Europe's been strong on vaccine news, and so far ES and NQ futures are pretty strong right now. So it's trying to be a really positive day. We've got a base support around 10.11, which is this prior spike right here. So there's this base support around 10, maybe down into 958, which is the base over here. But pre-market high is 12. And so that would be eclipsing this. This would be the first time above this since 94. Is that real? Wow. So first time potentially above 10 since 94. Had one brief movement here back in, what was that, 2013. And then a huge ramp. Huh. That's interesting. So I wonder if there's some sort of news that came out, because this is a giant volume spike. I mean, look at that. It doesn't even register on the rest of the volume spike. So something happened that busted this out of this slumber. This thing was asleep. This thing ate the apple and then has now woken up. So Yeah, there's something must have happened, some sort of news on this one. I'm very interested to find out, but it's just blowing through resistance everywhere. So, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on this one here. I wouldn't want to trade at 10.88. I'm going to put a, let's see if we can get this. Yeah, I'm going to put a little alert. Look for a pullback towards 10.28, low 10s. This should act as some sort of support. Should possibly, in my opinion, it could act as some sort of support on a pullback. So I'd like to see an intraday pullback into this. And then I'd like to see the bids step in on the dome. Time and sales start to get really active. See them starting to absorb this. And then go for a move towards 12 potentially. Tagging the pre-market highs and ideally a break of that and maybe 14 or 15. So Veru is going to stay on the hot list right now. The structure on the intraday is not bad at all. Yeah, this is, I think, where the announcement came out. I mean, there was a little pop here, a little pop here. You can see the big volume push here. Impulsive, corrective. Let's draw it real quick. Impulsive, corrective, impulsive. Pretty big selling pressure at the end of the week, although after a 300% gain, I'm not surprised. Corrective pullback, and then it's just continued to rip higher, with this being a big one here. And then another corrective pullback, and now holding at VWAP. So, yeah. So I kind of like a pullback here. I'd like to see VWAP climb a little bit. That might be an interesting play right there. But I'll be watching that in the live trade channel for members. So, okay, interesting. Veru's on the list. Good morning to you, Elijah One. Let's take a look at VTVT. VTVT was just doing nothing and they had that announcement. It's kind of consolidated since. So what's the pre-market volume on this one here? VTVT 1.9 million versus 2.5. So it's pretty close to average daily volume before you even got in the market. That's a good sign. And it had a ramp from 2 to 6, which it faded most of that. And it looks like it's trying to do another ramp. Maybe there was some initial news, profit taking, sold off. That's all pre-market though. And so it just faded all that. But now it's trying again. So pre-market highs 4, and then obviously this spike here around 6. So yeah, I'd like to see this build. You know, it has a big spike and now we're sitting in the middle, and that's not my favorite. You know, when you see an impulsive move, you want the corrective structure to be at the top, not impulsive move and then it fades back down and then forms a corrective structure here, because that means it ran into a pretty good wall. And so there is the presence of counter trend players there. So I'm going to want to see this build, you know, maybe hit it again, weaker rejection, continue to build higher. That's what I'm going to want to see on VTVT. I'm going to want to see that build, press into that, continue to, you know, build higher lows. And then that, you know, the smart people that are short at $4, they'll see the building and they'll probably exit early. Weak players will stay in, they'll get stopped out, and then it should help push it a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to want to see a little bit of a build. Otherwise, you have to wait for a deeper pullback to 3 potentially, which is right around the weekly VWAP on that one there. And then maybe target 398, but you don't have a whole lot of mean. I mean, you got $1, it's not bad. But even at that point, it seems like it'd be a little bit tentative. So caution on this one, but I think there might be some potential plays on there. So we'll move this further back on the list. Plug, I'm liking that structure. I am liking the structure on multiple time frames. Yeah, I like the structure on multiple time frames. We have a trade on Plug. We have a cash secured put at 25. So if the market stays above 25 through expire, we keep the whole credit. We get to keep all the premium. If it comes back to 25 or it goes below 25 and it gets exercised, we will be long at 25, regardless of what the price is. So it could dip to 24, 23. We will be long at 25 if the option buyer exercises that put. So we'll see. But looking at this overall structure, so what do you see? Impulsive, corrective pullback, and then some more serious profit taking. It stabilized a little bit, kind of flushed a little bit lower. But if we look at it more like this, you can see, you kind of got a channel, and now we're breaking out of that. There is a disruption there, and it's a pretty strong move. So I'm liking this on the 1 hour chart. And so we kind of are breaking out of that corrector structure and trying to break higher. Let's take a look at the 5 minute, which is, it looks like it's building nicely. Yeah, this is building nicely. So you get a big thrust in pre-market, pullback, 20 EMAs holding, pullback, VWAPs holding. So the lows are building. And if that continues, so if it continues to go like this and produce higher lows, then I would lean towards a breakout. You'd obviously want to target pre-market highs at like 28.10, whatever that is, in my opinion. And then after that, after 28.10 or 28.09, 28.65, I have that marked as a pre-market resistance. So yeah, that's why. Okay, so you can see it here. So there's a pretty good resistance here. You have this high right here, and then you have this kind of cluster of highs with the 2 spikes past that. So yeah, and again, building higher lows. Whoa, that was weird. Let's delete that. So you have this right here, and that's too small. Okay, this cluster highs, but look at the lows, building, building, building. So kind of a similar thing. I'm going to want to see this. I'm going to see it produce a higher low and continue to build, and I'd be expecting a breakout on plug. That's what I'm leaning towards on that one. So far, I really like the structure on this one here. This is one of the better structures. What's the volume on plug? 1.9 million, or wait, no, 1.1 million, averages 31. So not gangster by any means. I mean, it's above my 600K requirement, but in terms of plugs volume is normally 31 million. So we're at 3% roughly. I'm going to need to see a little bit more of that. I'd like to see a little more. I would lean towards it building a structure. If I had to speculate, what is the more likely thing? I think it's more likely to build a structure, but not have a massive breakout, because the volume isn't quite there yet in relationship to relative volume. It could, but it would be less sustainable. So I'm going to want to see volume build. Okay, let's see a couple questions. Victor Denowich, good to see you, Victor. Colin, OCX. Wait a minute. Why are you doing that? I'm already logged in. What's up, yo? Okay, OCX. Let's take a look. Oh, that's okay. Interesting. I don't know about this one. So as a sub 3, I generally don't trade sub 3s, but now we're above 3 in pre-market. Let's take a look at OCX and see if we got anything. It's not showing up on my okay, burning rock, excuse strategic distribute. Okay, so we do have a positive news catalyst. It's like our molecular diagnostics company with a mission to provide actionable answers at critical points across the cancer care continuum, signing exclusively in China. 2 licensed to determine RX. This proprietary test to identify high-risk early-stage lung cancer patients, which you might see more of that because of coronavirus. I'm not a medical expert, but yeah. Seems like you might start to see a lot of people because coronavirus does attack the respiratory system, amongst other things. 5-year survival. To Burning Rock Biotech Limited. Okay. And China Telesins. Okay. To Cap and Beer and Arc. Burning Rock is one of the fastest growing, largest companies in China's next generation sequencing. Okay, so they're partnering with somebody here. So they got some tech, they got some pharma, and they're partnering with somebody, and they're working with China. It's okay. It's good. Okay, very interesting. So we do have positive news catalysts. What's the pre-market volume on this one? Can you get pre-market volume? Is this giving pre-market volume? I'm curious. Is it giving pre-market volume? I'm not seeing it anywhere. Okay, so yeah, I'm curious what pre-market volume is. I thought TradingView was giving pre-market, but I am not seeing it. So let's take a look in Benzinga. And overview. Is there a way to get pre-market? Okay. I'm not seeing it on the volume list, so I need to it would help if I got that. It's 19 million? Huh. Okay. 19 million pre-market. Okay. That's pretty substantial. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I'd be very curious to see that. So pre-market, we are above this prior swing point here. And let's expand the weekly a little bit. Okay. So if it can clear and hold above this, I think there's potential for scope to 428, maybe 495. You know, watch some of these spikes here. You got 5.5, maybe 6.5. I think around here, it's probably going to run into some sellers. So there is potential for a pretty good rip on this one. There's potential for that. Yeah, interesting. It's just sitting right above pre-market highs, or right above that structural highs. Volume is really good. It hasn't done anything since then, though. It hasn't built. So it had the announcement, but then it hasn't built at all. In fact, it's just kind of holding towards the middle. So I'd like to see, I'd want to see this stabilize. I wouldn't want to see it go below, say, 320. If it starts to go like that, then it's fading most of the gap. Like it's already broken below the lows of the gap. And then it could start to fade to, 236, 250 pretty easily. So some caution on that one. I don't like the fact that it hasn't, after the initial rip, it just hasn't built anything. There is potential, maybe around 329, 330, which is the bottom of the pre-market base. I'd like to see that hold and then stabilize, see time in sales, see the dome get really good. Yeah, I'd like to see more. We do have the volume requirement, Colin. So you've got it on Benzinga Pro. Your scanners and filters are probably different. I don't my filters don't take stocks that started pre-market below $3. So that's probably why. I've said it that way because I generally don't, my performance doesn't do well when I start trading sub $3 stocks. My sweet spot is between 3 and 50. That just seems to be it. So you probably have your filters for your movers set differently, but yeah, I need to see this build a little bit. I'm going to need to see this hold. If it starts to lose the gap up lows, then I think you're going to see a little bit of a fade. But you got good volume, so there is that, and there's a positive news catalyst, and you have some structure right here. So I think once it starts to lose 3, then it's in trouble. Then I think it's going to, it could easily fade most of this gap. But yeah, I'm just not the follow-up is not totally there yet, but it's got some of the hallmarks, but it's missing a few things. Filter set 3 to 50. Yeah. Interesting. Filter set 3 to 50. Yeah, mine are set 3 to 50, and yeah, it's not picking it. I think mine only picks it up if only if it starts the day at $3, but it's not showing up on my scanners at all. Maybe there's some other requirements that I have in there. Yeah, I don't know, but interesting. So it's got some of the juice, but it's missing some elements. You don't see a continual build of the structure throughout the pre-market session. So I'm going to need to see it do that. Come on, Benzinga. What are you doing? I'm doing a webinar. Okay. Hey, quit it. All right. Malajat, what do you prefer, trading futures or stocks? I trade stocks. I don't trade futures. So yeah, I trade stocks. That's what I prefer. Do you need big savings, as I believe futures also offer tape reading and order flow? Do you need big savings? Do you mean a big account? Do you need a big account to trade stocks versus futures? I don't know, because I don't trade futures. So I have no idea what their requirements are. Hard for me to comment. I trade stocks. So I don't think you need a huge account to trade stocks. I know you can get a margin account with not a whole lot. I don't know what the low end you need for getting a margin account. Probably a couple thousand, I guess, maybe. But I know people that trade stocks with just a few $100s. I had a student, big savings, big account. I don't think so. I have students I had one student who in the last 2 months, I haven't verified his results, but I trust him. I trust him as he's been pretty honorable and reputable person. But in the since October, he's up. Last I heard was 105%. So he shared that with us. But I'll see if I can. He said start a margin account with 2K, and is okay. So he's here. Lewis is here. And is that true, Lewis? That you're up? Your account's now at 4K. Futures are more easy to trade, I believe. If you believe that, then trade it. You know, I don't see that. I get the same information trading stocks pretty much as I do futures. There are more complexities with the futures market in terms of, you know, types of contracts and things like that. But if you feel that, so be it. You trade what you want. You trade what you want. You know, it doesn't really matter what I trade. As long as you like what you trade and you're making money off it, so be it. That's what you should trade. I don't tell people they should trade a specific market. I trade stocks because it works better for me. You should trade. If you're making money trading futures, you should keep trading it. You know, maybe do a comparison, trade futures and stocks side by side for a year and see which one does better. But that's how you really know. But I am, you know, I'm already doing well with stocks, so there's no need for me to change over. So Lewis, can you confirm still that your results still hold? I'm just curious. Chris Durkin saying Matt late spike in volume to close yesterday. I am confused by the chart. So Chris Durkin, just to let you know, the way it works is instrument, time frame, in one sentence description, bullish or bearish. So if you help me out with that, I can do a quick analysis. I've added more funds in, but account was 105% performance as of last week. Okay, nicely done. Pretty impressive. Very, very impressive. And that's just stocks and options. Is that correct? And yes, for all you're asking, it's a live account. Lewis is trading a live account. That's just stocks and options, Lewis, or have you been adding other things in there as well? Like crypto, FX? I'm just curious to hear if there is, but very impressive performance. That's pat on the back. Yes. Yes to what? I'm not sure, but yes. Okay. Gotcha. Very cool. Congratulations. So Chris, if you can get that information to me, that'd be great. We'll take a look at that. So we covered OCX. I have some uranium plays going on UUU and UEC. I haven't really traded a whole lot of uranium, so I'm very curious. It's my first time really venturing in it. I am curious to where it's working out. Chris Durkin, MAT 5-minute bullish, still learning VWAP. Okay, stocks and options, FX doesn't seem to gel with me. Hear you on that. I mean, volatility, I mentioned this years ago. I even did a video. You said, what's happening with the Forex market? You know, volatility is just collapsing. So, you know, a lot of people got upset that I moved from FX to stocks. And like a lot of people are like, why are you doing that? Why aren't you trading FX? And they all took it as like some sort of personal attack. And it's, excuse me, the bottom line is that I'm married to trading. I'm not married to an asset class. So whatever asset class is going to provide me the better returns, the better trade opportunities, the more trade opportunities across multiple timeframes, that's the one I'm going to trade. You know, I'm still using the same skills that I did in FX and stocks. The only difference is stocks, I have more tools. I have volume, I have VWAP, I have DOM, I have time and sales. So those are new skills I'm having to add versus FX. Time and sales doesn't really apply in FX. DOM doesn't really apply in FX. Volume isn't, you know, centralized, so it's not legit. And, you know, there's no VWAP. So I have less tools when trading FX versus stocks, and I'm not married to an asset class. I trade whatever market is giving me the most opportunities. And right now that's stocks. So that's what I'm going to trade. Okay, so let's take a look at MAT. Excuse my throat this morning. Mattel. Wow, this is like old school toy company. Like so old that they were making toys when I was a kid, which is a long time ago. In fact, I think didn't Mattel make Intellivision? Weren't they the ones that made Intellivision? We didn't get the Atari. We ended up waiting, and then we got the Intellivision, and man, we played the heck out of that game. That stuff. Okay, so Mattel, let's take a look and see if there's anything pre-market. I wish my throat wasn't so weird. Okay, so just last week, Citigroup initiated coverage on Mattel with a neutral rating. Announces price target. The price target is 17.5. And we're at 16. So yeah, basically saying, he's a Citigroup guy saying basically, I don't see this going anywhere. I can kind of see why, but I mean, this is a pretty impressive ramp. I don't even know what Mattel makes anymore, but you have an expanding volatility corrective structure here. So it's expanding because it's not like a channel where the lines are parallel. It's expanding. So you have expanding volatility. And going back to this here, volatility is expanding to the downside more than the upside. Well, sort of. Yeah. But it is an expanding volatility. And this is a pretty impressive run here. That is a very impressive run. I can see why he said like, hey, neutral buy rating is 17.5 because that's resistance here, and then there's 18. So for it to break out of this structure, like from an Ichimoku wave perspective, this is an expanding volatility wave. So yeah, it would suggest that probably when it hits here, from an Ichimoku perspective, that it's more likely to revert back to the downside. But this is a very impressive run. Just consistent building. So yeah, I'd be interested to see if it like makes it to this and then has a weak pullback and continues to build and then breaks out. I think if it can clear, let me erase that here. Yeah, if it can clear 19, maybe 1943, then this thing might have some legs. So I'm going to set an alert on that. Like that could be a pretty interesting revival if it can clear that. Because to bounce from 709 to 20, pretty much with very little pullbacks, that's not easy. That is not easy. So Matt was wondering about the 5-minute. You're saying, hey, Matt, late spike in volume to close. Chris Durkin, late spikes in volume to close the market that's par for the course. We had covered this in our stock trading course. Every there's always a huge surge in volume at the end. Part of it is funds. Part of it is that there's certain funds and mutual funds that don't trade during the day. They only trade end of day. Wow. Throat, man. So yeah, that's like here, end of volume spike, end of volume spike, end of volume spike, end of volume spike. So that's in and of itself, there's nothing special about that. That's just standard stock market. You always see generally spikes towards the end of the session close. So that in and of itself is not something that would tick me off as this is a potential trade. I want to see structure. I want to see volume, ideally some positive news catalyst. We had something like that next week with a neutral rating on it. That was way back here when it was almost already at 17.5. So, but so far the structure is building a little bit. You have a nice impulsive move here, and then you have this corrective base, and it just rips through this. Yeah. Dipped into, finally found some liquidity around 15.75, and now is building, but then you have this kind of, again, expansion and volatility here. So nothing special yet, but I think if it was to clear 19.5, then I think it starts getting a little meaty. But nothing I'm not saying anything out of it yet. So yeah. Okay. All right. So we are at market open. I'm going to go to the live trade room for our members. And that's pretty much it. So keep an eye on Veru. Keep an eye on this one here. This has got potential. It's got a building structure to it, good volume. Plug. It's so far the overall structure is building. OCX. Yeah, it's fading a little bit. So keep an eye on OCX. We talked about that one. Not much to say on Matt, and then VTVT. We talked about this one. Like it to build a little bit. So pray for snow on the East Coast. I hope so. We got a little bit here in the mountains. We got 11 to 13 inches this weekend. So I hope it continues to build. But Stefano, thanks to you as well. So with that being said, good luck trading this week. Just to let you all know, this is my last trading week of the year, so I will stop after that. Because I'm going into the end of the year, and we're profitable for the year, and we're going to share our performance at the end of the year. You know, it's not that I'm not playing to win, but I'm just being a little bit more picky because I know that liquidity is going to continually sap out of the markets over the coming days. And I expect trading to be very thin next week. So I'm not trading at all next week. We'll be ending at, this week. I would say if we're lucky, or not if we're lucky, if we get a busy week, we'll trade up to Friday. But after that, we're not taking any new trades for the year. We won't take any. Yeah, I don't see us taking any new trades. It's possible something special may come, but unlikely. And so once that's done, we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to share our performance at the end of the year. So probably before Christmas is when we'll launch that video. So we'll share our stats on all kinds of things. And so I think I think you'll be impressed. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. Remember, trading is risky. I'm not a financial professional or anything like that. Just giving a disclaimer. This is not trading advice. This is just my personal opinions here. So, this is something that takes time. It's a skill. Do not expect to learn it overnight. Do not expect to learn a few simple patterns. And a very important saying that we say on Wall Street is don't confuse a bull market with brains. It's very easy to make money when it's a bull market, but when it becomes a two-way market is when you see where the real skill traders are able to make money and which ones aren't. And a lot of people get confused that, oh, well, they're making money in a bull market, and so they're really smart traders. And then the bull market, the tide goes out and you see who's swimming naked. And that's a very common thing. It happened to me in 2003, where euro dollar was just gaining every single day, and then it reversed to start the year, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I realized, okay, I was only making money because it was an easy bull market. Now that we have a two-way market, this is a much more challenging market. So don't think you're some great trader because you've been making money during one of the easiest, I don't want to say easiest, but one of the more consistent bull markets in history. Once you start to see a two-way market, that's where you're going to see who can really perform and who doesn't, and who's able to recognize those turns and transitions. And so it's super important. Trading takes time. Do not expect it to be something easy. Don't expect a couple simple patterns and you can do it. This is a skill, like learning a new language, like learning an instrument. It takes time. But through time, you learn the skill and it becomes worth it. Lewis has been working on this for years, and now he's had an amazing, not only last 2 months, but he's having a great way to end the year. This is his best year ever. So, Lewis has put in a lot of time, and now he's seeing the fruit and the results of that, and you can too. So with that being said, good luck trading this session. I'm going to join the live trade room for our members now, and I will see you guys. Wow. I technically probably won't see you till next year. I might do like an open Q&A session sometime over the next few weeks, probably after we release the performance video. But yeah, so expect one more live Q&A session. I won't be doing one of these next Tuesday or the following Tuesday after that, but I'll probably do a live Q&A on some sort of Friday after we release our performance video. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, good luck trading today, and